Hi again. In this video, we're going to talk about the problem-solving process, and then in the next few, we will solve some problems. So this is just one problem-solving process. There's many ways to write it out, and in fact, you may have been asked to reflect on how you approach problems in your life. So there are some common elements to different problem-solving processes. So let's go through one, and then we'll follow these steps as we go. So first step is to identify the question you're trying to answer. So what are you trying to do? And do any research needed to understand the context. Okay, so gather any information you need or to understand the problem. Kind of makes sense. Then step 2 is identify the information you have and information you may need. Okay, so I'll do a little underline here. Identify the questions, do any research. And this one I'll underline, identify information you have and information you may need. Okay, so we might need to look up or estimate any missing information. Another really important part is estimating the range of reasonable answers. So what numbers would make sense for our answer? And this is going to help us at the end to determine whether our answer makes sense or not, if it's reasonable. Okay, a third step is to brainstorm and try out different mathematical tools. So try out different processes to see what might be helpful. Often great tools are manipulatives, visuals, or tables. Use those whenever possible. All ideas are useful even if they don't work out. So just trying something or trying a few different things is a really great approach. Don't be locked into a set way. The first way you try, maybe you'll learn something by doing that, and then you will ultimately try a different method. Okay, step 4 is then to choose one method to continue. So kind of pick one way and get a potential solution. And we're calling it potential because then you need to double check, right? So we want to, in step 5, check whether your solution makes sense. So we're going to do that. Is it reasonable? Can you get there a different way to confirm your answer? So sometimes if you can do something 2 different ways, it's really good because then you're sure of your answer because you've used 2 different ways to get there. Also, we might need to return to steps 1 through 5. So maybe we made some assumptions in the beginning that we need to reevaluate. Maybe we need to go back and make sure we've used all the information. We might need to go back, or maybe our method didn't quite work out and we need to go back and try a different one. So this is an iterative process. We might not just go through one time. So we will return to steps 1 through 5 as needed. And then, of course, when finished, explain your conclusion. Okay, so that's just one way to write out a problem-solving process, and you've probably seen something similar to this before, or gone through it even. So before we actually solve some problems, I want to talk about operation sense. So many of our problems will use basic operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And I bet you have a sense already intuitively of what you would use each operation for, right? So if you kind of know in a situation when you're going to add or subtract, multiply or divide, that's really helpful. So let's kind of write out some different situations, or feel free to do that first and pause the video. Addition is often used for totaling things, right? If you're combining things or totaling, I'll say combining. Amounts or totaling. And in the free online textbook, there's a list of words associated with each one of these, so check that out as well. That can help a lot. Subtraction, so think about when you would subtract 2 numbers. You're often trying to find the difference between something, right? Like how much do you have left? You're taking away, maybe you're taking away something, you're spending money. So I'll say finding the difference, or finding a difference between amounts, or taking away, spending money. Okay, so those are some situations where we would use subtraction. Okay, now think about multiplication. When do you multiply numbers? So often we're sort of combining or totaling, but it's a repetitive amount, like per month or something. So if you have an amount per month, that would be times 12, right? So if you have the same repeated, so we could say repeated amount, and multiplication is a shortcut for repeated addition. So amount per month, or if we had something like doubling or tripling, hope I'm spelling that right, doubling or tripling, that is a multiplication effect, right? Multiplicative effect. Okay, and the last one, division. Think about when you divide things, and we've actually been doing a lot of that in this chapter with rates and proportions and ratios. So that's kind of one time you are going to use division, when you have rates and ratios. Also, if it's kind of using the same word, but if we're dividing things into groups, right? If we have a bunch of money and we want to know how much each person can have, we would divide it up. So if we're dividing or breaking into groups. Also, similar to multiplication with doubling or tripling, we might have fraction words like halving or maybe a quarter. So if we had like a half or quarter, that's another indication of dividing because we're getting smaller. Okay, and that might also play into your operation sense or number sense, is at least with positive numbers, when you add, and a number's greater than 1, if you add and multiply, they're going to get bigger generally. When you subtract or divide, you're going to get a smaller answer generally. So that might help you as well. Of course, if you have negatives or fractions, that's a little different, but with talking about positive whole numbers bigger than 1. Okay, so that's a problem-solving process and a little bit about operation sense. In the next video, we will solve a problem using the problem-solving process.